Hello, first graders. I heard that this week you guys will be talking about firefighters, and I have a little story for you for our library time this week. So I'm going to read a story to you called Fighting a Fire Step by Step, and it's going to go through what a firefighter would do in a day. So we're going to read that, and afterwards I'll talk to you a little bit more again. See you in a minute. Hi again, first graders. Here's a story that we'll be reading today called Fighting a Fire Step by Step, and it's by Thomas Kingsley Troop. Fighting a fire, step by step. Some books have table of contents like this. That means it tells you what's in the book and what page to find it on. Here, this is kind of like chapter 1, Sound the Alarm, can be found on page 4. So that some books have this in them. So if you ever see this, the table of contents, it tells you where you can find certain things and then what page they're on. Even down here, it's just a different color, same thing. There's no other parts of the book and then the pages that you can find them on. So again, it's called the table of contents. Sound the alarm. The phone rings at the 911 dispatch center. A scared woman is on the line shouting. There are flames and smoke in her house. It's time for the fire department to act. Firefighters follow many steps before they can begin fighting a fire. First, the alarm sounds. A fire alarm can sound at any time. Sleeping firefighters wake up when there's a fire call. We have fire alarms like this at school that I'm sure you've seen. And at the fire station, if the firefighter lives there, that's an alarm that'll go off to wake them up too. Next, the lights come on in the firefighter's room. Then a dispatcher tells them about the fire call through a speaker. And this here information on the side says, some firefighters don't sleep at the station. Instead, they drive to the station after receiving a fire call at home. And this is, if you live in this area, our firefighters do this. They live at home and they get a phone call or a page on one of the radios or a text message of some sort that tells them to get to the fire station. The firefighters get dressed in their fire clothes or turnout gear. Turnout gear is made of special material that doesn't burn easily. It also protects firefighters from heat. First, the firefighters step into their boots, pull up their pants, and next they put on their coats. And last, the firefighters pull on a fireproof hood. The hood circles their necks until it's needed. So they just put it on here, and then they just put it around their neck until they need to get ready here in a little bit. The firefighters climb into the truck and go. Then the driver turns on the lights and sirens. He sounds the air horn, warning cars to move out of the way. The firefighters race to the scene. Here's a red fire truck like you would see in Bronzedale, but as you know, in Hayfield, they're yellow trucks. Inside the truck, firefighters put on their air tanks. The air will help them breathe inside a smoky building. And here's a little tidbit of information. The seat inside the fire trucks have air tanks attached. A firefighter sits down and straps on the tank. So you can see the tanks here. He sits down and gets it all situated right onto him there. And then he's ready to go when he gets to the fire. At the fire, the driver parks the truck near a fire hydrant. Most fire trucks have water in them, but the water can quickly run out. A hydrant will give the truck more water. One firefighter carries a bag full of tools. The tools will help them open the hydrant. A firefighter runs to the hydrant. First, he unscrews the hydrant cover, which is what he's doing here. Next, he flushes out the hydrant. I mean, it's getting water out there to make sure it's all clean. And then he shuts off the water and hooks up the hose, which is what he's doing right there. The engineer controls the water coming in and out. When the hydrant is ready, the engineer opens a valve. The hydrant fills the truck's tank. The firefighters pull on their mask and turn on their air tanks. So there's where that hood is. They pull that up and put the the mask on. Next, they pull the hood over the top of their heads, and then they strap on their helmet. The firefighters bring tools with them to the fire. They bring axes, flashlights, and a radio. They also bring a halogen bar. This special tool can be used to pry open or break into a locked door. The most important tool a firefighter brings is the hose. Without water and foam, there's no way to put out the fire. So this is stacks and stacks of hose back there, and even more back here. The firefighters pull the hose from the truck. They will need to work as a team to put out the fire. If a door to the house is closed, firefighters try the knob first. If it is locked, they'll force the door open with their tools, which is what they're doing here in the picture. A firefighter team's priority is safety. First, they look for people trapped inside the burning building. The team wants to be sure everyone comes out alive. This means other firefighters too. Firefighters crawl along the ground where the air is cooler, and they search every room. We've talked about that during Fire Safety Week, that you stay low so you're underneath the hot and the smoke. If they find people, they will bring them out as quickly as possible. The firefighters try to put out the fire. They have to work together to use the fire hose. A hose spraying water is hard to hold on. A hose that is filled with water is thick and round, and it's called a charged hose. First, the firefighters on the nozzle warn the others. Then he opens the hose. Together, the team holds the hose tight. They blast the flames with water and foam. When the fire is out, the firefighters check for hot spots. A thermal imager can find heat in the walls and ceiling. No one wants a fire to start again. Once the building is safe, they collect their tools. Then the firefighters disconnect the hoses and unhook the fire hydrant. It's time to drive back to the fire station. Back at the fire station, the firefighters clean up the tools. They refill the air tanks. More foam and water is added to the truck's tank. Fire hoses need to be cared for. First, firefighters will wash them. Next, the hoses are hung to dry, and then the hoses are rolled up and stored on a rack. And that's the end of our story. Here is called a mixed up mess. Now that you've learned the steps in fighting a fire, can you put these pictures in order? So what do you guys think would come first? Here is spray the fire with water and foam. Do you think that's the first thing you do? Look for people inside the house? Sound the alarm at the station? Or clean the hoses? I'm going to guess that most of you think that first the alarm needs to go off so that the firefighters know that there is a fire. Then what do you think comes next? They go to the fire and they look for people inside the house. And they spray the fire with water or foam. And then last, they clean up. This book also has what's called a glossary. A glossary is like a little mini dictionary. So these are some of the big words that you may have seen in the story. And you can come back here and actually read what they're about. And this book also has another page where there's other books that you can read and some internet sites, which I will get to you guys later. And an index which tells you what page everything is on. And it's kind of like at the table of contents, but it's a little bit more detailed. So that was our story, Fighting a Fire. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about what firefighters do and that'll go along with what you guys will learn during your class time. Thank you. Hi again, first graders. So I hope you learned a little bit about firefighters and some parts of their jobs. At the end, there were some websites. I will add those also and a couple other websites that I think you might be interested in. So feel free to have a parent help you find those websites and look through them. Otherwise, I will see you again next week. Bye.